Hello there, and welcome to the Dreamy Ocean Channel. Take a deep, gentle breath with me now, feeling your body begin to settle, letting the tension in your shoulders melt away, allowing your jaw to soften and your eyelids to grow heavy. How can a creature exist hidden in the crushing depths, growing to a size that defies our terrestrial understanding, yet move with such silent, ancient grace untouched by the hurried pace of our surface world? Tonight, we embark upon a journey into the abyssal realm to encounter a being of profound mystery, the Japanese spider crab, the world's largest arthropod with stick-like legs spanning up to 4 meters, living for perhaps a century within the ocean's chill embrace. Its very existence whispers of secrets kept by the deep of life, unfolding on a grand scale far beyond the reach of sunlight. A creature of such immense scale and longevity, dwelling in perpetual twilight, invites us to ponder the quiet marvels that lie beneath. As the currents of your thoughts begin to slow, allow your mind to drift into these serene, unseen waters. Awakenings in the abyssal dream. The deep ocean, a realm beyond the sun's embrace, holds within its crushing, silent embrace creatures that seem spun from the very fabric of dreams. It is here in the cold, unyielding pressure that our story begins to unfurl, tracing the slow, deliberate movements of a creature so vast, so ancient, that its very presence whispers of primordial times. For centuries, perhaps even millennia, the waters surrounding the islands of Japan have cradled an enigma, a colossal arthropod whose existence remained largely a mystery to the hurried world above. The first faint acknowledgements of this colossal being likely emerged not from scientific expeditions, but from the quiet, rhythmic toil of local fishermen, their nets dipping into depths where sunlight never dared to penetrate. Imagine, if you will, the sheer, breathtaking surprise of pulling a trawl net from the frigid, dark waters of the Pacific, not with the usual catch of bottom-dwelling fish, but with something entirely impossibly different. A form so immense, so alien, that it would momentarily suspend the very breath in one's lungs. Perhaps in the hushed pre-dawn hours, as the first hints of grey light touched the eastern horizon, a heavy, resistant weight would signal something extraordinary caught within the mesh. As the ropes strained and groaned, slowly lifting the net from its watery grave, the outline would begin to emerge, indistinct at first, then gradually resolving into a shape unlike any seen on the sunlit shores. A central body, perhaps the size of a small table, adorned with an array of long, slender limbs, stretching outwards with an almost ethereal fragility, yet possessing an undeniable, formidable presence. These were the earliest unrecorded awakenings to the Japanese spider crab, Macrocheira, a name that would later be given to this titan of the deep, a creature whose very appearance seemed to defy the known boundaries of life itself. The initial encounters would have been steeped in a mix of awe and a primal, instinctive wonder. Picture the vast, pale, orange carapace flecked with creamy white rising from the inky blackness. Its surface often adorned with other life forms like sponges and anemones, clinging softly to its ancient shell, creating a living, moving garden on its back. Then, the legs. Oh, the legs. Not thick, powerful limbs like those of crabs found closer to the shore, but incredibly long, almost impossibly thin appendages tapering to delicate, sharp points. Each limb, segmented and jointed, would articulate with a slow, deliberate grace, even in the struggle against the net, conveying an impression of profound slowness, of a life lived at an entirely different tempo than our own. These stick-like legs, sometimes spanning up to 4 meters from claw tip to claw tip, would unfold like an ancient organic fan, revealing the true, staggering scale of this deep-sea dweller. The very sight of it suspended between the ocean and the air would have been a moment of quiet, profound revelation, a glimpse into a world that had until then remained utterly concealed. The scientific world's formal introduction to this marvel began in the early 19th century, a period when the mysteries of the deep were slowly beginning to yield their secrets to eager naturalists and explorers. It was the German naturalist and explorer Engelbert Kaempfer, whose extensive observations of Japanese flora and fauna in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, though not directly encountering the living crab, provided early descriptions that would later lead to its classification. His meticulous records and illustrations, though sometimes based on specimens or local accounts rather than live observation, laid crucial groundwork. Later, in 1836, the Dutch zoologist Coenraad Jacob Temminck formally described the species, honoring Kaempfer in its scientific name, Macrocheira kaempferi. The genus name Macrocheira itself tells a story deriving from the Greek words makros, meaning long, and chair, meaning hand, a fitting tribute to its extraordinarily elongated chelipeds or claws. This scientific christening marked a pivotal moment, transforming what might have been local legend or fisherman's tale into a recognized, albeit still deeply mysterious entity within the grand catalogue of life on Earth. To truly appreciate the Japanese spider crab, one must first endeavour to understand the environment it calls home, a place of perpetual twilight and immense pressures. This is not the vibrant, sun-drenched coral reef, teeming with darting, colourful fish. This is the abyssal plain, a vast, undulating landscape beneath thousands of metres of water, where the sun's rays are utterly extinguished, leaving behind an eternal night. Here, temperatures hover just above freezing, a constant biting cold that would shatter the delicate balance of most surface life. The weight of the water above is almost unimaginable, exerting pressures that would crush any terrestrial creature instantly. Yet this crab navigates its world with an unhurried elegance, its body exquisitely adapted to this demanding realm. It is a slow, silent world where sounds are muffled and echoes stretch into the vastness, creating an atmosphere that feels both desolate and profoundly serene. Within this deep-sea dreamscape, the Japanese spider crab moves with a grace that belies its immense size. Its long, jointed legs allow it to traverse the soft, muddy seafloor, distributing its weight across a wide area, preventing it from sinking into the sediment. Each step is a deliberate placement, a slow, almost meditative motion that speaks of a life lived without haste, without the urgency that defines so much of the world above. The sensory apparatus of this creature, though hidden, is finely tuned to its dark environment. Its small, stalked eyes, while present, are likely of limited use in the absolute darkness, suggesting a reliance on other senses. Perhaps an acute sense of touch through delicate hairs on its legs, or chemoreception detecting subtle chemical cues in the water to find food or mates. It is a creature of shadows, navigating by whispers and unseen currents, a silent hunter and scavenger, in a world where every morsel of sustenance is a precious gift. The very concept of a creature living for potentially 100 years or more in these deep, cold waters adds another layer of profound mystery to its existence. A lifespan that rivals that of human beings, yet lived out in an environment so utterly alien, so removed from our own experience of time. What does a century mean to a creature that moves so slowly, sees so little, and dwells in such immense silence? It suggests a biological clock, ticking at an entirely different frequency, a metabolism slowed to an ancient rhythm, conserving energy in a world where resources are scarce and life itself is a slow, enduring struggle. This longevity, coupled with its immense size and its deep-sea habitat, positions the Japanese spider crab not merely as an animal, but as a living monument to the enduring power and adaptability of life, a quiet testament to the ocean's boundless capacity for wonder. As we gently drift deeper into the story of this magnificent being, allowing our thoughts to settle like fine sediment on the ocean floor, we begin to perceive the profound implications of its existence. It is not just a crab, it is a sentinel of the abyss, a living archive of deep-sea evolution, a silent witness to the slow, inexorable march of geological time. Its presence reminds us that beneath the shimmering surface of our familiar world lies another vaster domain teeming with life forms that challenge our imagination and expand our understanding of what is possible. The initial discovery, the slow naming and the gradual understanding of Macrocheira represent humanity's own awakening to the dreamlike majesty of the deep ocean, a journey from ignorance to a quiet, profound appreciation for its most extraordinary inhabitants. Let the gentle currents of this understanding carry you deeper now into the quiet majesty of its world. The whispers of Macrocheira's discovery, the story of Macrocheira. This colossal inhabitant of the abyssal plains did not burst forth into the scientific consciousness with a sudden, brilliant flash, but rather emerged through a series of quiet, almost imperceptible whispers carried across oceans and centuries, long before the formal naming. Before the meticulous classifications and the detailed anatomical studies, there were the hushed accounts, the fleeting glimpses, the fragments of knowledge gathered by those whose lives brushed against the fringes of the deep. These initial impressions, often from the local fishing communities of Japan, were the first soft echoes of the giant crab's existence passed down through generations' tales woven into the fabric of coastal life. Imagine the weathered hands of a fisherman, perhaps in the late 17th or early 18th century, carefully disentangling his deep-set nets only to find within their mesh not the expected bounty, but an enormous pale orange form, its impossibly long legs tangling like ancient roots. The sheer scale, the delicate yet formidable presence would have etched itself into memory, a quiet marvel pulled from the unseen world beneath the waves. It was into this world of subtle hints and local knowledge that Engelbert Kaempfer, a German physician and naturalist, arrived in Japan. His journey, spanning from 1690 to 1692, was ostensibly as a medical officer for the Dutch East India Company, stationed on the isolated man-made island of Dreamy in Nagasaki Bay. Yet beneath his official duties, Kaempfer harbored an insatiable curiosity, a profound drive to document the natural world around him. Japan at that time was a closed country, its borders meticulously guarded against foreign influence, making Kaempfer's clandestine observations all the more remarkable. He was a man of quiet determination, patiently gathering information, sketching and recording everything he could about the flora, fauna, and culture of this enigmatic land. He could not freely roam the countryside, but through his interactions with translators, officials, and perhaps even fishermen who brought their catches to market, he began to piece together a mosaic of Japanese natural history. Within his extensive notes, later compiled into the monumental work Aemonitates Exoticae, a Latin title translating to Exotic Pleasures, published posthumously in 1712, Kaempfer included descriptions of various marine creatures. It is highly probable that among these observations, or perhaps even through dried specimens or detailed local drawings shown to him he encountered information pertaining to a remarkably large crab, a creature unlike any known in Europe. His descriptions, though perhaps not based on a living, complete specimen of Macrocheira caempheri, were sufficiently detailed and intriguing to capture the imagination of subsequent naturalists. They were the first scientific whispers carried across vast oceans and through the quiet corridors of European academia, hinting at a giant of the deep that awaited formal recognition. Caempher's meticulous, almost reverent approach to documentation, even under the most restrictive circumstances, laid the foundational stones upon which the later scientific discovery would be built. His work was a bridge, gently connecting the isolated knowledge of Japan with the burgeoning scientific curiosity of the West, illuminating a path into the unknown. Decades later, in the vibrant intellectual atmosphere of 19th century Europe, the pieces of this puzzle began to align more clearly. This was an era of profound scientific exploration, where sailing ships traversed the globe, returning not just with exotic spices and silks, but with crates filled with botanical specimens, geological samples, and preserved animal life. Grand museums were being established, their vast halls becoming repositories of the world's natural wonders, each new specimen a testament to the planet's astonishing biodiversity. It was within this context that Coenraad Jacob Temminck, a distinguished Dutch zoologist and the director of the National Museum of Natural History in Leiden, encountered a specimen that would forever link his name with the colossal crab. The exact journey of the specimen Temminck studied remains somewhat veiled in the mists of history, but it is believed to have been acquired through the extensive trade networks of the Dutch East India Company, or perhaps brought back by a naturalist or mariner from Japan. Imagine the careful unpacking of a heavy wooden crate, perhaps after many months at sea, the scent of preservative filling the air as the contents were slowly revealed. Inside, nestled among protective packing materials, lay the preserved form of an immense crab. Its carapace, a muted orange, would have hinted at its living coloration, while its limbs, though perhaps somewhat shrunken or stiffened by preservation, would still have conveyed their extraordinary length. For a zoologist like Temminck, this was not just a curiosity. It was a scientific treasure, a tangible link to a world previously known only through sparse accounts. In 1836, Temminck undertook the meticulous work of formally describing this creature. This was a process demanding immense patience and precision. He would have carefully examined every segment, every joint, every minute detail of the specimen. Measurements would have been taken with exacting care, comparing its features to known crab species, noting its unique adaptations. His scientific eye would have recognized the distinctive morphology, the relatively small, rounded body, the incredibly elongated legs, the delicate yet formidable claws. It was a creature that defied easy categorization, standing apart in its sheer scale and unusual proportions. It was Temminck who bestowed upon it the scientific name Macrocheira caempheri. The genus name Macrocheira, a beautiful construction from the ancient Greek, literally means long hand. A direct and poetic acknowledgement of its most striking feature, those immensely extended chelipeds or claws, which can span up to 4 meters. And the species epithet caempheri was a deliberate and respectful tribute to Engelbert Caempfer, recognizing his pioneering work and his invaluable early contributions to the understanding of Japanese natural history. This act of naming was more than just assigning a label. It was an act of integration, formally welcoming this deep-sea giant into the global catalogue of life, moving it from the realm of anecdote into the structured domain of scientific knowledge. The formal description of Macrocheira sent ripples of quiet astonishment through the burgeoning scientific communities of Europe. Here was an arthropod, a creature related to the familiar crabs, and insects yet of a size that challenged all previous conceptions. It spoke of the ocean's vast, unexplored depths, hinting at other colossal, unseen wonders. The discovery of such a unique and immense creature ignited imaginations, fueling further curiosity about the abyssal realm, a curiosity that would eventually lead to dedicated deep-sea expeditions in the latter half of the century. The journey of this knowledge from the distant, whispered accounts of Japanese fishermen to Kayempfer's diligent notes, and finally to Temming's precise scientific classification, illustrates the slow, deliberate unfolding of understanding, a quiet awakening to the deep-sea dream that continues to captivate us even now in the gentle quiet of this moment. Let us now allow our thoughts to drift further into the intricate design of this creature as we consider its colossal framework. The colossal framework. As we allow our minds to settle deeper into the silent, cold embrace of the abyssal realm, our attention now turns to the very architecture of Macrocheira Kayempferisans, the colossal framework that allows this creature to not merely survive, but to thrive within its demanding environment. Imagine for a moment an intricate biological sculpture meticulously crafted by eons of evolution, designed to navigate a world of crushing pressure and perpetual darkness. This is the Japanese spider crab, a living edifice whose form speaks volumes about the deep ocean's unique challenges and the extraordinary solutions that life has devised. The most immediate and striking feature of this deep-sea giant is without doubt its truly immense leg span. Picture a creature whose outstretched limbs could comfortably encompass a small car or stretch across the width of a modest room. From the tip of one outstretched claw to the tip of the other, a mature male. Macrocheira kayempferi can measure an astounding 3.7 meters, sometimes even approaching 4 meters across. This is not merely large, it is colossal, dwarfing any other known arthropod on our planet. Yet despite this breathtaking span, the creature does not appear monstrous or ponderous. Instead, its overall impression is one of delicate, almost ethereal grace, a skeletal architecture that seems to defy the very laws of gravity and density beneath the immense weight of the ocean. At the very heart of this vast biological structure lies the carapace, the crab's central body, a protective shield that houses its vital organs. Compared to the staggering length of its legs, the carapace itself is remarkably modest in size, typically measuring up to 40 centimeters, or about 16 inches across its widest point. Its shape is often described as pear-shaped or somewhat rounded, tapering gently towards the front. The surface of this ancient shell is not smooth and sleek, but rather adorned with a series of subtle bumps, ridges, and small nodular projections. These aren't merely decorative, they serve a crucial purpose in its deep-sea existence. The coloration of the carapace is typically a muted, earthy orange, sometimes leaning towards a reddish hue, often interspersed with creamy white or pale yellow patches. This subtle palette allows it to blend seamlessly with the soft, often clay-like sediments of the deep seafloor, a silent cloak in a world without vibrant light. But the carapace is more than just a shield of chitin. It is often a living ambulatory garden. The rough, uneven texture of its surface provides an ideal substrate for a diverse array of other deep-sea life forms to attach and flourish. Sponges, sea anemones, and other sessile invertebrates often cling to the crab's back, creating a mesmerizing, moving ecosystem. Imagine patches of soft, velvety sponges, their delicate pores, filtering the nutrient-poor water, interspersed with the waving tentacles of anemones, gently swaying with the imperceptible currents. This symbiotic relationship provides the crab with an exceptional form of camouflage, blurring its outline against the deep-sea landscape, making it incredibly difficult for potential predators to distinguish its form from the surrounding environment. For the attached organisms, the crab offers a mobile platform, elevating them slightly above the sediment and providing access to currents that might carry scarce food particles. It is a quiet, living testament to the interconnectedness of life, even in the most remote corners of our world. Extending from this central body are its 10 remarkable appendages. 8 of these are walking legs known scientifically as pariapods, designed for slow, deliberate locomotion across the vast, often featureless expanse of the abyssal plain. Each of these legs is a marvel of biological engineering, incredibly long, slender and cylindrical, giving the crab its characteristic spider-like appearance. They are segmented much like the jointed limbs of an insect, allowing for a wide range of articulation. Picture the rhythmic, almost hypnotic movement of these legs as the crab traverses the soft, muddy seafloor. Each segment from the stout coxa closest to the body through the elongated merus and carpus to the slender propus and the delicate dactylus at the tip works in concert. The dactylus or claw-like tip is often subtly curved, providing purchase on the yielding sediment, allowing the crab to distribute its immense weight across a broad area, preventing it from sinking into the soft substrate. This unhurried, almost meditative gait conserves precious energy in an environment where food is scarce, allowing the crab to move with an efficiency that belies its colossal size. The front 2 appendages are the chelipeds or claws, and these are particularly noteworthy, especially in mature males. While the walking legs are long and slender, the chelipeds of a male Macrocheira caempheri can be disproportionately longer than all other legs, sometimes extending to an astonishing 1.5 meters, contributing significantly to the crab's overall 4-meter span. In contrast, the chelipeds of females are typically much shorter, more in proportion with their other legs. This striking sexual dimorphism suggests a role for these elongated claws beyond mere foraging, possibly in elaborate courtship displays, territorial defense, or even in gentle, ritualistic combat between males. The claws themselves at the very end of these magnificent limbs are not the massive crushing pincers seen in many shallower water crabs. Instead, they are relatively small, delicate and pincer-like, adapted more for grasping and tearing rather than brute force. They are used for carefully manipulating food items such as carrion or small invertebrates, bringing them towards the mouthparts for processing. The head region of the crab, nestled at the front of the carapace, features 2 small, stalked eyes. In the absolute darkness of its deep-sea habitat, where sunlight is an unknown concept, the utility of these eyes for forming detailed images is believed by scientists to be severely limited. Instead, they may primarily function to detect subtle changes in light intensity, perhaps sensing the faint bioluminescence produced by other deep-sea creatures, or simply registering the absence of light. This suggests that the Japanese spider crab relies far more heavily on other sensory organs to navigate its world. Fine, delicate hairs known as setae cover various parts of its legs and body, acting as highly sensitive tactile receptors, allowing it to feel its way through the environment, detecting subtle shifts in currents or the presence of obstacles. Furthermore, chemoreceptors, specialized cells capable of detecting chemical cues in the water, are likely crucial for locating food-sensing predators and finding mates across the vast, silent expanses of the deep ocean. It is a creature that smells and feels its way through its dreamlike existence. Beneath the carapace, tucked away safely within a specialized branchial chamber, are the gills. These delicate, feathery structures are exquisitely adapted for extracting oxygen from the cold, oxygen-poor waters of the deep. The crab maintains a slow, rhythmic flow of water over these gills, a constant, gentle exchange that allows it to breathe efficiently in an environment where oxygen is a precious commodity. This slow metabolism, coupled with efficient oxygen uptake, is a key factor in its remarkable longevity, allowing it to sustain its immense body over decades, even a century in a realm of scarcity. The entire colossal framework is encased in an exoskeleton composed primarily of chitin, a strong yet relatively lightweight polysaccharide. This outer shell provides structural support, protecting the soft internal tissues from the immense hydrostatic pressure of the deep ocean, which can reach hundreds of atmospheres. It is a resilient armor, yet it is also flexible enough to allow for movement and growth. This chitinous shell, despite its apparent fragility, is a testament to nature's ingenious engineering, enabling the Japanese spider crab to withstand forces that would instantly obliterate most forms of life. It is through this meticulously designed architecture, from the broad span of its slender legs to the subtle texture of its carapace, that Macrocheira stands as a quiet, living monument to the profound adaptability of life, an enduring architect of the deep, slowly constructing its ancient existence within the ocean's silent embrace. Sensory echoes in the eternal twilight, in the profound, unbroken night of the deep ocean, where the sun's warmth and light are but distant mythical memories. The Japanese spider crab does not perceive its world as we, the creatures of the sunlit surface, do. Its existence unfolds in a realm of eternal twilight, a quiet, immense darkness that demands an entirely different suite of senses, a unique way of experiencing the vast, silent canvas of its home. For Macrocheira, the world is not a spectacle of vibrant hues and sharp forms, but a nuanced composition of chemical whispers, subtle vibrations, and the ghost of fleeting bioluminescence. Let us first consider its eyes, those small globular orbs, perched delicately on short stalks at the front of its carapace. In a habitat where light penetration from the surface is utterly extinguished after the first few hundred meters, these eyes are not designed for painting a vibrant tableau of the surroundings. Instead, scientists believe their function is far more specialized, far more attuned to the specific conditions of the abyss. They are thought to be highly sensitive to the faintest flickers of light, perhaps detecting the ephemeral glows of bioluminescent organisms, a passing deep-sea jellyfish, the fleeting flash of a lanternfish, or the faint cold light emitted by certain bacteria on decaying matter. Imagine them as sophisticated light meters, registering not detailed images but rather the presence or absence of light, the ghost of a glow in the immense darkness. This allows the crab to discern movement or the proximity of other living things that produce their own light, turning the perpetual night into a field of potential shimmering signals. A world perceived not in sharp focus but in gradients of shadow and fleeting phosphorescence, where every faint spark is a significant event. Yet vision, even in this specialized form, is but one small facet of the spider crab's sensory world. Far more crucial for its survival and navigation in the abyssal dream is its exquisite sense of chemoreception, a process akin to our senses of smell and taste, but vastly amplified and adapted for an aquatic medium. Imagine the water itself as a complex tapestry of dissolved molecules, each carrying information, each a whisper from the distant reaches of its environment. The Japanese spider crab possesses highly sensitive chemoreceptors, particularly concentrated on its delicate antennules, those short branched appendages located near its mouthparts, and also distributed across its longer antennae and even on its walking legs. These are not merely passive sensors. They are actively employed, constantly sampling the invisible currents sifting through the molecular information suspended in the water. With each slow, deliberate movement of its antennules, the crab is tasting its surroundings, deciphering a complex olfactory map of its deep-sea domain. It can detect the dissolved essences of decaying organic matter, the faint molecular trail of a distant meal drifting lazily with the abyssal currents. This ability is paramount in an ecosystem where food is scarce and scattered, allowing the crab to home in on carrion-fallen fish mollusks or other invertebrates that settle onto the seafloor from the productive waters above. Furthermore, chemoreception is vital for communication. The subtle chemical signals or pheromones released by a potential mate can be detected across considerable distances, guiding the slow, silent journey of reproduction. Similarly, the alarm pheromones released by a threatened neighbor or the specific chemical signatures of a predator can trigger an instinctive response, allowing the crab to either freeze its colossal form into stillness or to slowly retreat into the protective embrace of its camouflaged surroundings. Each molecule becomes a whisper, a scent trail drifting like smoke, building an invisible yet intensely detailed chemical landscape for the crab. Beyond the chemical whispers, the Japanese spider crab relies heavily on mechanoreception, its sense of touch and vibration, to understand the physical world around it. Those incredibly elongated limbs which define its majestic form are not merely for locomotion, but are extensions of its sophisticated sensory apparatus. Covering various parts of its legs, especially the dactyls or claw-like tips, and along its carapace are numerous fine brush-like hairs known as setae. These delicate structures act like thousands of tiny antennae, constantly feeling the texture of the abyssal mud, detecting the subtle shifts in water pressure, and registering the minute vibrations of the seafloor. Imagine the crab moving across the soft, silty bottom, each of its long legs gently exploring the substrate. The setae on its dactyls provide immediate feedback. Is the sediment firm enough for purchase? Is there a slight indentation that might signal the presence of a hidden burrow? Are there any small burrowing invertebrates moving just beneath the surface? The ocean floor becomes a vast, vibrating canvas, and each hair is a delicate sensor building a nuanced map of its immediate surroundings. Furthermore, these mechanoreceptors are acutely sensitive to water currents. In the deep, where large-scale water movements are often slow and predictable, the detection of even subtle changes in current strength or direction can provide crucial information, perhaps indicating the approach of a larger creature, or guiding the crab towards an area where food particles might be accumulating. The subtle pressure waves generated by a distant movement, even the slow, deliberate stroke of another deep-sea dweller, can be perceived through these sensitive hairs, transforming the silent ocean into a realm of tangible, felt echoes. Within the very musculature and joints of its colossal limbs, the Japanese spider crab also possesses specialized internal mechanoreceptors known as proprioceptors. These minute stretch receptors and tiny tension gauges provide the crab with a continuous internal feedback loop about the position and movement of its own body parts. This is essential for coordinating the slow, deliberate ballet of its colossal legs, allowing it to understand its own posture, to maintain balance on uneven terrain, and to execute precise, energy-efficient movements. Without this internal compass, such an immense and multi-limbed creature would struggle to navigate its world with any semblance of grace or purpose. Each segment of each leg, from the stoutest base to the most delicate tip, is in constant silent conversation with the crab's nervous system, ensuring that every step is purposeful and controlled. Thus, the Japanese spider crab builds its perception of the deep-sea dream not through a single dominant sense, but through a complex integration of these sensory echoes. Its world is a rich tapestry woven from the faint cold light of bioluminescence, the intricate drifting patterns of chemical scents, and the subtle tactile vibrations that ripple through the water and the seafloor. It is a world of whispers and faint touches of unseen movements and molecular trails pieced together with an ancient wisdom honed over millions of years of evolution in the eternal twilight. As we allow these images of sensory perception to gently wash over us, let us drift deeper, contemplating the very domain that has shaped such extraordinary adaptations, a realm of pressure and cold. Having gently explored the nuanced sensory world of the Japanese spider crab, our journey now descends further into the very heart of its existence, the fathomless domain it calls home, a realm defined by its relentless pressure and its profound, constant cold. This is not merely a habitat. It is an extreme environment, a world sculpted by forces far beyond our immediate comprehension, a place where life itself seems to defy the very boundaries of possibility. Imagine, if you will, sinking slowly, silently through the water column. As the surface light begins to dim, fading from a vibrant azure to a deep ethereal blue, then to an ever-darkening indigo, a profound transformation occurs. The warmth of the sun's embrace vanishes, replaced by a pervasive, chilling coolness. Below 200 meters, the last vestiges of sunlight are absorbed, and beyond 1,000 meters, absolute darkness reigns, a perpetual midnight that has persisted for eons. It is within this abyssal zone, specifically at depths ranging from 200 to 600 meters, and sometimes even deeper, perhaps, to 1,000 meters, that Macrocheira truly awakens to its dreamlike existence. These are the deep slopes and vast plains of the Pacific Ocean, particularly around the southern coast of Honshu, Japan, and extending into the waters of Suruga Bay, Sagami Bay, and Tosa Bay. This region, characterized by its deep-sea trenches and volcanic activity, provides the specific geological contours that define the crab's ancient home. The most immediate and formidable characteristic of this domain is the immense hydrostatic pressure. For every 10 meters you descend into the ocean, the pressure increases by approximately 1 atmosphere. To put this into perspective, at a depth of 600 meters, the Japanese spider crab experiences a pressure of 60 atmospheres. This is equivalent to having 60 times the weight of the entire atmosphere pressing down upon every square centimeter of its body. Picture the weight of a herd of elephants, or perhaps a dozen fully loaded semi-trucks, bearing down on an area the size of your hand. For most terrestrial creatures, such forces would be instantly catastrophic, crushing delicate tissues, collapsing air-filled cavities, and denaturing complex proteins. Yet the Japanese spider crab navigates this unyielding embrace with an unhurried grace, its very structure a testament to evolutionary ingenuity. Its chitinous exoskeleton, while appearing delicate due to the crab's slender form, is robustly designed to withstand this colossal squeeze. Unlike organisms that rely on air-filled bladders or compressible structures, the spider crab's body is largely composed of incompressible fluids and solid tissues. Its internal and external pressures are in a state of delicate equilibrium, with the surrounding water effectively neutralizing the crushing force. There are no air pockets to collapse, no delicate structures to implode. It is a creature built for density, designed to exist in perfect harmony with the immense weight of its environment. This adaptation is not merely about survival, it is about thriving, allowing its internal biological machinery to function precisely and reliably under conditions that would render other life forms utterly inert. Hand in hand with the immense pressure comes the pervasive, unyielding cold. The deep ocean is a realm of stable, near-freezing temperatures, typically hovering between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius, or approximately 35 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. This constant chill extends across vast swathes of the abyssal plain, a cold so profound that it slows down chemical reactions, alters the fluidity of cell membranes, and impacts the very rate at which life processes can occur. For most creatures, such extreme cold would lead to hypothermia and eventual cellular failure. But for the Japanese spider crab, this cold is not an adversary. It is an integral part of its long-term survival strategy. The low temperatures profoundly influence the crab's metabolism. Biological reactions, including digestion, respiration, and growth, proceed at a significantly slower pace in cold environments. This means that the Japanese spider crab possesses an exceptionally slow metabolic rate, a crucial adaptation in an environment where food is incredibly scarce. Every calorie consumed must be utilized with maximum efficiency, and a slower metabolism ensures that energy reserves last longer, allowing the crab to endure extended periods between meals. This physiological characteristic is a key contributor to its remarkable longevity, enabling it to live for decades, perhaps even a century, in its cold, silent world. Imagine a clock ticking at an almost imperceptible pace each moment, stretching into a languid eternity, allowing for a life lived without haste, without the frantic demands of warmer, more energetic ecosystems. The eternal darkness of this fathomless domain is another defining feature. Here, photosynthesis. The primary engine of life on the surface cannot occur. The sun's golden touch is an ancient myth replaced by a profound, unbroken blackness that permeates every corner. In this realm, the concept of day and night is utterly meaningless. Life here is not driven by the rhythmic cycles of light and shadow, but by the slow, inexorable currents and the sporadic, ephemeral glows of bioluminescence produced by other deep-sea inhabitants. This absence of light has driven the evolution of the crab's specialized sensory systems, as we have explored favoring chemoreception and mechanoreception over visual acuity. Its world is painted not with light, but with invisible chemical trails and subtle vibrations, a testament to life's ability to perceive and adapt in the most challenging of conditions. Within this dark, cold, and high-pressure environment, food is a precious commodity, a resource of profound scarcity. The deep ocean floor is often described as an oligotrophic environment, a vast, silent desert where primary production is almost non-existent. The food web here is largely dependent on the slow, continuous rain of organic detritus. From the more productive surface waters a phenomenon affectionately known as marine snow. This consists of tiny particles of dead plankton, fecal pellets, and other organic matter gently drifting downward, sometimes for weeks or months, before finally settling on the abyssal plain. Imagine these microscopic particles like a gentle, continuous snowfall in a world without wind, slowly accumulating on the soft, muddy bottom. The Japanese spider crab, like many deep-sea creatures, is an opportunistic scavenger, patiently waiting for these precious morsels to arrive. Its long, slender legs allow it to cover a wide area of the sea floor, with minimal energy expenditure slowly sweeping for any sign of sustenance. When a larger food source does finally descend, a fallen fish, a squid, or even the carcass of a whale, it becomes an ephemeral oasis, a sudden rich feast that attracts a diverse community of scavengers, including the spider crab. These whale falls are rare but incredibly significant events, providing a localized burst of nutrients that can sustain entire communities for years, even decades, as different organisms colonize and consume the various layers of the carcass. The crab's relatively small, delicate pincers are perfectly suited for tearing and manipulating these soft, decaying materials, carefully bringing them to its mouthparts. The seafloor itself in the spider crab's domain is typically a soft, muddy or silty expanse. These sediments are composed of fine particles of clay silt and biogenic remains that have slowly accumulated over geological timescales. This soft substrate provides both challenges and opportunities. While it might seem difficult to traverse the crab's widely splayed, slender legs, distribute its weight, effectively preventing it from sinking deeply. Moreover, the soft bottom can harbor a variety of small, burrowing invertebrates, which may also form a part of the crab's opportunistic diet. The texture of this ancient mud, the silent currents that whisper across its surface, and the faint chemical signatures embedded within it all contribute to the rich yet subtle sensory landscape that the Japanese spider crab perceives and navigates. Thus, the fathomless domain of the Japanese spider crab is not merely a hostile void, but a perfectly calibrated ecosystem to which this magnificent creature is exquisitely adapted. The crushing pressure, the profound cold, the eternal darkness, and the scarcity of food have all acted as powerful evolutionary sculptors, shaping a being whose colossal framework and unique sensory world allow it to exist in a state of quiet, ancient harmony. It is a realm of enduring mystery, a testament to life's profound resilience, and the Japanese spider crab is its silent, living sentinel, slowly moving through the ocean's deep, cold dream. Let us now consider the remarkable journey of its long life within this extraordinary world. Chuang 6. Chapter 6. 100-Year Journey, the Enigma of Longevity. As the silent, cold currents of the deep ocean continue to embrace our thoughts, we now turn our attention to perhaps the most profound enigma surrounding the Japanese spider crab, its astonishing journey through time. Imagine a creature that begins its life as a microscopic larva, drifting in the vastness, and slowly, imperceptibly, grows to span 4 meters, eventually reaching an age that rivals the longest-lived human beings. Scientists believe that Macrocheira can live for an extraordinary period, potentially reaching 100 years, and some estimates even whisper of lifespans extending beyond that into a century and a half. This incredible longevity for an arthropod, a group of animals often characterized by relatively short lives, is a testament to the unique adaptations fostered by its deep-sea home. The primary architect of this extended existence is undoubtedly the pervasive, unyielding cold of its abyssal domain. As we have gently explored the waters where the Japanese spider crab dwells, hover consistently at temperatures just above freezing, typically between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius. This profound cold acts as a universal decelerator for all biological processes. Imagine a complex chemical reaction, the very engine of life, slowing down to an almost imperceptible crawl. Enzymes, the biological catalysts that drive cellular functions, become less active. Metabolic rates, the speed at which an organism consumes energy and performs life-sustaining activities, are dramatically reduced. For the spider crab, this means that every heartbeat, every cellular division, every digestive process unfolds at an exceptionally leisurely pace. It is as if the very clock of life within its colossal form ticks with an ancient, deliberate slowness, each second stretching into a miniature eternity. This reduced metabolic rate has profound implications for the crab's aging process. One of the prevailing theories of aging in many organisms involves the accumulation of cellular damage caused by reactive oxygen species, often referred to as free radicals. These are byproducts of normal metabolic processes, particularly respiration, and they can damage DNA proteins and lipids, contributing to cellular senescence and tissue degeneration. In a creature with a significantly slower metabolism, the rate at which these damaging free radicals are produced is inherently lower. Consequently, the Japanese spider crab experiences less oxidative stress over time, allowing its cells and tissues to remain healthier, to function more efficiently, and to accumulate damage at a much slower rate than a comparable creature living in warmer, more metabolically active environments. It is a life lived in slow motion where the corrosive effects of time are gently diluted by the pervasive cold. Furthermore, the scarcity of food in the deep ocean reinforces this slow-paced existence, acting as another crucial factor in its longevity. The abyssal plain is an oligotrophic environment, a vast, quiet desert where sustenance is sparse and irregularly distributed. In such a demanding realm, organisms cannot afford to expend energy at a high rate. A fast metabolism would quickly deplete energy reserves, leading to starvation. The Japanese spider crab's exceptionally slow movements, its unhurried foraging strategy, and its reliance on opportunistic scavenging are all adaptations that minimize energy expenditure. It is a creature of profound patience, capable of enduring long periods between meals, silently awaiting the slow, gentle rain of marine snow, or the rare fortunate descent of a larger carcass. This energy-efficient lifestyle directly supports its slow metabolic rate, creating a virtuous cycle that enables its extended lifespan. Every calorie is precious, conserved with an ancient wisdom, allowing the crab to persist for decades in its lean, silent world. The growth rate of Macrocheira is intrinsically linked to its longevity. To reach its immense size, spanning up to 4 meters from claw tip to claw tip, while maintaining such a low metabolic rate, necessarily requires a very long period of growth. Unlike many fast-growing, short-lived arthropods, the spider crab grows slowly, deliberately accumulating biomass over many, many years. Each molting event where the crab sheds its old rigid exoskeleton to allow for growth is a significant energy-intensive process and a period of vulnerability. In older, larger crabs, these molting events become increasingly infrequent, further contributing to their extended lifespan by reducing exposure to predation during this fragile phase. Scientists believe that a crab might take many decades, perhaps half a century or more, to reach its maximum size, each molt representing a slow, incremental step in its century-long journey. The very act of growing becomes a testament to its patience and resilience, a slow, continuous unfolding of its colossal form. Another contributing factor to its remarkable longevity is the relative absence of significant predators in its deep-sea habitat, particularly once the crab reaches a substantial size. While juvenile crabs may face threats from deep-sea fish or cephalopods, a fully grown Japanese spider crab, with its impressive leg span and its natural camouflage, often adorned with sponges and anemones that break up its outline, presents a formidable challenge to most potential attackers. The deep sea, while not entirely devoid of danger, lacks the intense, fast-paced predator-prey dynamics of shallower, more productive waters. This reduced predation pressure allows individuals to survive for longer periods, provided they can successfully navigate the challenges of food scarcity and reproduction. It is a quiet existence where the constant threat of being hunted is diminished, allowing the crab to live out its long life in relative peace. The implications of such a long lifespan for the Japanese spider crab are profound, touching upon its ecological role, its reproductive strategy, and its very experience of time. Ecologically, a creature living for 100 years becomes a long-term presence in its ecosystem. It acts as a consistent scavenger, a silent recycler of organic matter, contributing to the slow, efficient nutrient cycling of the deep ocean. Its movements, though, slow cover vast areas over decades, influencing the distribution of sediment and the communities of smaller organisms that live within it. Its very body, particularly its carapace, becomes a long-term mobile substrate for other organisms, creating a miniature moving ecosystem that persists for generations. From a reproductive standpoint, a long lifespan often correlates with a strategy of producing fewer offspring over a longer period, but with higher rates of survival for those offspring. Instead of investing all energy into a single massive reproductive event, a long-lived creature can engage in multiple smaller reproductive cycles throughout its extended life. This strategy, known as heteroparity, allows for greater resilience against environmental fluctuations, as not all reproductive attempts are risked on a single, potentially unfavorable year. It also means that the experience gained over decades of navigating the deep-sea environment could potentially lead to more successful foraging and mating strategies for older, more experienced crabs, further contributing to the species' long-term survival. The study of longevity in deep-sea creatures like the Japanese spider crab presents unique challenges to scientists. Directly observing an individual for 100 years is of course impossible. Instead, researchers rely on a combination of indirect methods and comparative biology. One approach involves analyzing growth rates from specimens collected at different sizes and estimating age based on these growth curves. For some crustaceans, growth rings in hard parts like the gastric mill or eye stalks can provide clues similar to tree rings, though this method is not as clearly defined or universally applicable to all species, including Macrocheira caempferiti. Scientists also draw comparisons with other long-lived deep-sea invertebrates, such as certain species of deep-sea corals or tube worms, which also exhibit significantly reduced metabolic rates due to their cold, dark, and food-scarce environments. The consistent correlation between deep-sea habitats, low temperatures, slow metabolism, and extended lifespans across diverse taxa provides compelling evidence for the spider crab's own remarkable age. Ultimately, the 100-year journey of the Japanese spider crab remains a profound enigma, a quiet testament to the ocean's boundless capacity for fostering life, in forms that defy our conventional understanding. It reminds us that time itself can be experienced in vastly different ways, that life can unfold at an ancient, deliberate pace, far removed from the hurried rhythms of our own world. As we consider the implications of such a long existence in the deep, allowing its slow, enduring wisdom to settle within our minds, we prepare to gently drift into the next phase of its life, the intricate dance of growth and transformation that defines its very being. Molting and transformation, the colossal framework of the Japanese spider crab. A marvel of deep-sea engineering is encased within a rigid, chitinous exoskeleton. This outer shell provides formidable protection against the crushing pressures of its abyssal home and acts as a sturdy anchor for its powerful, albeit slow-moving musculature. Yet this very strength presents a fundamental paradox for any growing creature. How does a being encased in an unyielding armor increase its size? The answer lies in a meticulously orchestrated biological event, a slow, arduous process of shedding and renewal known as molting, or ecdysis, a rhythmic transformation that marks the quiet, incremental steps in its century-long journey through the deep. Imagine the crab, having reached the limits of its current shell, feeling a subtle internal pressure, a silent signal that its ancient armor has become too snug, too restrictive for further expansion. This is the beginning of the pre-molt phase or proectasis, a period of profound physiological preparation that can last for weeks or even months in such a long-lived, slow-metabolizing creature. Deep within its body, under the careful orchestration of hormones, a new, soft, pliable exoskeleton begins to form, secreted by the underlying epidermal cells, gently detaching from the old, hardened shell. Simultaneously, the crab initiates a remarkable feat of biological recycling. Valuable minerals, particularly calcium carbonate, are meticulously reabsorbed from the inner layers of the old shell and stored within its tissues, ready to be repurposed for the construction of its new, larger armor. This conserves precious resources in a nutrient-poor environment, a testament to evolution's efficiency. As the new shell slowly takes shape beneath the old, the crab's body subtly swells, often by absorbing ambient seawater. This osmotic intake of water creates an internal pressure, a gentle, inexorable force that begins to push against the confines of the existing exoskeleton, signaling the imminent dramatic event. The crab becomes quiet, perhaps seeking out a secluded depression in the soft seafloor, or nestling amongst rocky outcrops, a place where it can remain undisturbed during its most vulnerable phase. Its movements, already slow and deliberate, become even more languid, conserving every last flicker of energy for the immense task ahead. Then comes the moment of ecdysis itself, the actual shedding of the old shell. For a creature of such immense proportions, with legs spanning up to 4 meters, this is not a swift, sudden event, but a protracted, almost meditative struggle. Typically, the old carapace will split along its posterior margin, a delicate fracture, appearing where the old shell separates from the new. From this opening, the crab slowly, painstakingly begins to extract itself. Imagine the sheer, painstaking effort involved in pulling its entire body, including its colossal, slender legs, from the confines of its old armor. Each leg, segmented and jointed, must be carefully withdrawn inch by agonizing inch from its former casing. The process is a ballet of controlled exertion, a slow, continuous unfolding as the crab's soft, new form emerges pale and glistening from the rigid husk it has outgrown. It is a moment of profound vulnerability, a quiet birth into a larger self. The old exoskeleton, now an empty, ghostly replica of the crab, is left behind. It is a perfect, translucent shell, sometimes so intact that it appears as if the crab itself has simply dematerialized, leaving its former self as a silent testament to its transformation. This discarded shell, known as an exuvia, will slowly disintegrate over time, its calcium and chitin recycled back into the deep-sea ecosystem, providing a fleeting resource for other scavengers and bacteria. For the newly molted spider crab, however, the immediate challenge is survival. Its brand new exoskeleton is incredibly soft and pliable, offering virtually no protection against the immense pressures of its environment or the jaws of potential predators. It is a time of extreme fragility, when even the gentlest current or the slightest bump could cause irreparable damage. This post-molt phase, or metecdysis, is a critical period of rapid growth and hardening. The crab, having already absorbed water during pre-molt, continues to take in more, allowing its soft tissues to swell and expand, literally increasing its body volume before the new shell begins to harden. This is the true moment of growth, the actual increase in size that the molting process facilitates. Once it has achieved its new, larger dimensions, the complex process of sclerotization and calcification begins. The proteins within the new chitinous shell start to cross-link, making it tougher and more rigid, while the reabsorbed calcium carbonate, along with new minerals absorbed from the seawater, is rapidly deposited, gradually turning the soft pale shell into the hard protective armor characteristic of the adult crab. This hardening process is not instantaneous. It can take days or even weeks, during which the crab remains relatively immobile and deeply vulnerable, often hiding within crevices or relying on its camouflage to avoid detection. The frequency of molting in the Japanese spider crab is directly tied to its age and its remarkably slow growth rate. Younger, smaller crabs, needing to grow more rapidly to escape predation and reach reproductive maturity, will molt more frequently, perhaps once every year or two. Each successive molt allows for a significant increase in size, propelling them towards their colossal adult form. However, as the crab ages and approaches its maximum size, molting becomes an increasingly rare event. Mature, very large individuals may molt only once every few years, or even less frequently, perhaps every 5 to 10 years or longer. This reduced frequency is a crucial aspect of its longevity, as molting is an incredibly energy-intensive process, demanding vast physiological resources. By minimizing the number of molts, the crab conserves energy further, contributing to its slow metabolic rate and extended lifespan in the nutrient-scarce deep. Beyond growth, molting offers another vital benefit: the regeneration of lost or damaged limbs. In the vast, dark expanse of the deep ocean, accidents can happen, or a close encounter with a predator might result in the loss of a leg. Crabs possess the remarkable ability of autotomy, where they can voluntarily shed a limb to escape danger. During the subsequent molt, the lost limb can be fully or partially regenerated, emerging as a smaller, softer version that will grow to full size over subsequent molts. For a creature whose very existence is defined by its long, delicate legs, this regenerative capacity is not merely advantageous. It is essential for long-term survival and maintaining its mobility and sensory capabilities. Imagine a leg, perhaps one of those incredibly long chelipeds, slowly reforming segment by segment, a testament to the crab's profound capacity for self-repair and renewal. The entire molting process is a period of immense risk. During the hours or days it takes to extract itself from the old shell, and for the new shell to harden, the crab is virtually defenseless. Its soft, vulnerable body is an easy target for any opportunistic scavenger or predator that might stumble upon it. Even strong currents or falling debris from the water column could cause fatal injury to its delicate, unhardened form. This vulnerability underscores the importance of finding a safe, secluded spot to undergo this life-sustaining transformation. It is a quiet, solitary struggle, a profound act of renewal, undertaken in the profound silence of the deep. The slow dance of growth and transformation, orchestrated through these infrequent yet monumental molting events, is a defining characteristic of the Japanese spider crab's existence. It is a process that beautifully intertwines its longevity with its colossal size, its energy conservation with its vulnerability. Each discarded shell is a milestone, a silent marker in its long, deep-sea journey, and each new larger shell is a fresh canvas upon which its ancient life continues to unfold slowly, deliberately, in the eternal twilight of its fathomless domain. This patient, methodical approach to growth allows Macrocheira to truly embody the enduring, quiet power of the deep, a living testament to life's extraordinary ability to adapt and flourish, even in the most challenging and dreamlike of worlds. Diet and deep-sea foraging. Having explored the delicate yet powerful process of molting, which allows the Japanese spider crab to slowly grow and renew itself, our journey now turns to a fundamental aspect of its long existence: how it sustains its colossal form in the profound, nutrient-poor silence of the deep. The abyssal plane, as we know, is a realm of scarcity, a vast, cold expanse where food is not only rare, but also often widely dispersed. For Macrocheira, survival hinges upon an exquisitely adapted diet and a patient, energy-efficient foraging strategy, perfectly attuned to the rhythms of its fathomless domain. The Japanese spider crab is primarily an opportunistic scavenger and detritivora. This means its diet largely consists of dead organic matter that drifts down from the more productive surface waters, along with the occasional small sessile or slow-moving invertebrates it might encounter on the seafloor. Imagine the ocean's surface teeming with vibrant life, constantly producing biomass. When these organisms die, their remains, along with fecal pellets and other organic debris, begin a slow, silent descent through thousands of meters of water. This continuous shower of organic particles is known as marine snow, a gentle, almost imperceptible snowfall of sustenance that forms the very foundation of the deep-sea food web. For the spider crab, each particle of marine snow is a potential morsel, a whisper of energy from the world above. However, marine snow alone, while constant, is often not sufficient to sustain a creature of Macrocheira's immense size. The true feasts in the deep are the larger, more substantial pieces of carrion that occasionally sink from the upper ocean. These can include the carcasses of fish, squid, or even marine mammals like whales and dolphins. When such a large body descends, it creates an ephemeral oasis of nutrients on the barren seafloor, a localized burst of energy that can attract a diverse community of scavengers from across vast distances. These whale falls, in particular, are monumental events in the deep sea, providing a rich, long-lasting food source that can sustain entire ecosystems for decades. For the Japanese spider crab, detecting these rare, precious food falls is a critical skill. Its primary tool for this is its highly developed sense of chemoreception, its ability to smell and taste the water. Dissolved organic molecules leaching from decaying carcasses can travel significant distances with the abyssal currents. Imagine the crab slowly traversing the soft, muddy seafloor, its delicate antennules constantly sweeping and sampling the water, its chemoreceptors diligently sifting through the molecular information. A faint, almost imperceptible chemical signature in the water. A whisper of decay can signal the presence of a distant meal. This allows the crab to slowly but surely home in on the source, guided by an invisible trail of scent, conserving energy by not having to search randomly across the vast, dark expanse. Once a food source is located, the crab employs its remarkably long, slender legs and relatively delicate pincers for feeding. Unlike many shallow water crabs that possess powerful crushing claws, the chelipeds of Macrocheira are adapted for a more refined, meticulous approach. Its pincers are relatively small and pointed, perfectly suited for tearing off small pieces of soft flesh from decaying carcasses, or for carefully picking up minute particles of organic detritus. Imagine the crab gently, deliberately using its long arms to manipulate a piece of carrion, tearing off a manageable fragment, and then bringing it slowly towards its mouthparts. The mouthparts themselves are a complex array of chitinous structures, including mandibles and maxillae designed for processing and ingesting these soft food items. The feeding process itself is likely a slow, unhurried affair, reflecting its overall metabolic pace. In an environment where food is so scarce, every morsel is precious, and digestion must be as efficient as possible. The crab's digestive system, like its metabolism, is adapted for slow, thorough processing, extracting maximum nutrients from whatever it consumes. This efficiency is critical for sustaining its immense body over its long lifespan, ensuring that the limited energy intake is optimally converted into the energy required for maintenance, slow growth, and reproduction. Beyond large carrion, the Japanese spider crab also supplements its diet with smaller, bottom-dwelling invertebrates. As it slowly ambles across the seafloor, its long legs and sensitive setae can detect the presence of minute organisms burrowing in the soft sediment, or perhaps small, slow-moving mollusks or crustaceans. Its delicate pincers are well suited for gently extracting these small prey items from their hiding places, or for carefully grasping them from the substrate. This generalist approach to feeding, being able to utilize a wide variety of food sources, is a common and highly successful strategy for deep-sea scavengers, providing flexibility in an unpredictable environment. Scientists also believe that the Japanese spider crab may engage in some degree of opportunistic predation, though this would likely be on very slow-moving or incapacitated prey. Given its slow movement, it is unlikely to actively pursue fast-swimming fish or agile invertebrates. However, a sick, injured, or trapped creature that happens to be within its reach could become a meal. Its camouflage, often enhanced by the sponges and anemones living on its carapace, might even allow it to lie in wait, a silent living rock, until an unsuspecting meal drifts too close. The energetic demands of maintaining such a colossal body in a cold, food-scarce environment cannot be overstated. The Japanese spider crab's entire foraging strategy is a masterclass in energy conservation. Its slow, deliberate movements minimize metabolic expenditure. Its reliance on scavenging means it does not need to invest energy in active hunting or pursuit. Its efficient chemoreception reduces the time and energy spent searching for food. And its ability to go for extended periods between meals is a testament to its highly efficient metabolism and energy storage capabilities. It is a creature that lives by the principle of quiet patience, making the most of every opportunity that the deep offers. The deep-sea foraging behavior of the Japanese spider crab is a silent, ancient dance of survival, perfectly choreographed to the unique conditions of its fathomless domain. It is a constant, patient search guided by invisible chemical trails and subtle tactile whispers, culminating in the delicate manipulation of precious sustenance. In this realm of eternal twilight, where every calorie is a treasure and every meal a gift, Macrocheira stands as a testament to life's profound adaptability, a colossal scavenger maintaining its long, dreamlike existence through an intricate ballet of sensory perception and energy conservation. As we reflect on its methods of sustenance, let us now gently turn our thoughts to its overall behavior and the remarkable adaptations that define its existence in the quiet depths. Behavior and adaptations. As the echoes of the deep-sea foraging strategies gently fade, our focus now shifts to the broader tapestry of the Japanese spider crab's existence, its behavior, and the suite of remarkable adaptations that allow it to navigate its colossal form through the profound silence and immense pressures of its abyssal home. Imagine a creature of such immense scale, yet moving with an almost ethereal grace its life unfolding at a pace utterly alien to our surface world. These are the gentle giants of the deep, their every action and every physical trait a testament to millions of years of evolutionary refinement. Perhaps the most striking aspect of Macrocheira Kayamferi's behavior is its profound slowness. This is not merely a characteristic, but a fundamental adaptation to its cold, nutrient-poor environment. Every movement, from the rhythmic articulation of its incredibly long legs as it traverses the seafloor to the delicate manipulation of food with its pincers, is performed with an unhurried, almost meditative deliberation. This slow tempo is directly linked to its exceptionally low metabolic rate, a physiological necessity in waters where food is scarce and temperatures hover just above freezing. A creature that moved quickly would rapidly deplete its precious energy reserves, facing certain starvation. Instead, the spider crab embodies patience, conserving every calorie, making each action purposeful and efficient. Imagine watching it move across the soft, silty bottom, each step a slow, deliberate placement, its long legs acting like silent stilts, distributing its weight to prevent sinking, an ancient ballet performed in perpetual twilight. Camouflage is another paramount adaptation crucial for both avoiding predators and ambushing potential prey. While its sheer size might suggest invulnerability, especially for adult individuals, juvenile crabs are certainly susceptible to predation, and even large adults benefit from remaining inconspicuous. The mottled pale orange and creamy white coloration of its carapace, often flecked with darker patches, allows it to blend seamlessly with the hues of the deep-sea floor, which are typically muted and earthy. But the spider crab takes this natural camouflage a step further, engaging in a fascinating behavior known as decorating. It actively attaches other organisms such as sponges and sea anemones to its carapace and sometimes even its legs. Imagine a living, moving garden, a miniature ecosystem clinging to its back, blurring its outline and making it incredibly difficult for any potential predator to distinguish its form from the surrounding rocky outcrops or sediment. For the crab, this provides a dynamic, living disguise. For the attached organisms, it offers a mobile platform, elevating them slightly into the water column, providing access to food-carrying currents they might not otherwise reach. It is a symbiotic relationship, a silent collaboration in the deep. The extreme length of its legs, while visually stunning, is a multifaceted adaptation. Firstly, it allows the crab to cover a significant area of the sea floor with minimal body movement, thus conserving energy during foraging. It can simply extend its sensory-laden legs to probe the surrounding sediment for food or chemical cues, rather than moving its entire body. Secondly, these long, slender limbs provide stability on the soft, often uneven abyssal substrate. By distributing its weight over a wide area, the crab avoids sinking into the mud, much like snowshoes distribute a person's weight on snow. Thirdly, the extensive reach of its chelipeds, particularly in males, may play a role in courtship displays or territorial interactions, allowing for signaling or gentle sparring without direct, dangerous physical contact. Scientists believe that the male's exceptionally long claws are likely a form of sexual selection, signifying fitness and reproductive prowess. The Japanese spider crab also demonstrates adaptations to the immense hydrostatic pressure of its deep-sea habitat. As we have discussed, its body is largely composed of incompressible fluids and solid tissues, maintaining an internal pressure that balances the external force. This is not a behavioral adaptation, but a fundamental physiological one, allowing its cellular machinery to function normally under conditions that would crush most other life forms. Its slow, deliberate movements also help avoid sudden pressure changes that could potentially stress its system, though in the deep sea, significant pressure fluctuations are rare. Social behavior in Macrocheira kayamferi is not well understood primarily due to the challenges of observing these creatures in their natural deep-sea environment. However, based on observations from submersible dives and aquarium studies, they appear to be largely solitary or gather in loose aggregations, particularly during specific times such as mating season or around abundant food sources. During mating season, larger aggregations have been observed suggesting that some form of communication and interaction occurs, likely mediated through chemical signals, pheromones detected by their highly sensitive chemoreceptors. There is no evidence of complex social structures, parental care, or territoriality in the way we might observe in some shallower water crab species. Their existence seems to be one of quiet independence punctuated by periods of aggregation for reproductive purposes. Its reproductive strategy is also deeply intertwined with its longevity and deep-sea adaptations. Females produce a large number of very small eggs, which they carry beneath their abdomen for an extended period, protecting them until they hatch. This parental investment in egg protection is crucial in an environment where larval survival rates can be low. Upon hatching, the larvae are pelagic, meaning they drift in the water column, often at shallower depths than the adults. This allows them to exploit the more productive surface waters, where food is more abundant for their early developmental stages. As they grow and undergo several larval stages, they gradually descend to the deeper waters, transforming into their adult form and adopting the slow, scavenging lifestyle. This vertical migration strategy for larvae is a clever adaptation, allowing the species to capitalize on different ecological niches at different life stages, maximizing their chances of survival. The resilience of the Japanese spider crab to its extreme environment is further highlighted by its ability to regenerate lost limbs. Should a leg be damaged or lost, either through an accident, an encounter with a predator, or even through autotomy, the voluntary shedding of a limb to escape danger, the crab can regrow it over successive molts. This capacity for regeneration is vital for a creature whose primary means of locomotion and sensory exploration are its long, delicate appendages. A lost leg could significantly impair its ability to forage, move, or even defend itself. The slow, methodical process of limb regeneration occurring over multiple molts is another testament to its patient, long-term survival strategy. In essence, the Japanese spider crab is a living embodiment of deep-sea adaptation. Its slowness, its camouflage, its colossal yet delicate framework, its specialized sensory systems, and its reproductive strategy are all finely tuned instruments, perfectly harmonized with the pressures, cold, and scarcity of its fathomless domain. It is a creature that has mastered the art of quiet endurance, a gentle giant whose every behavior and physical attribute whispers of ancient wisdom and profound resilience. As we continue to drift through its world, let us now consider the intimate details of its reproductive journey, the unseen nursery, where new life slowly begins. The unseen nursery, reproduction, and larval life. As the quiet reflections on the behavior and adaptations of the Japanese spider crab settle gently within our minds, we now turn our gaze to the most intimate and profound aspect of its existence, the cycle of reproduction, and the delicate, unseen journey of its larval life. In the eternal twilight of the deep ocean, where life unfolds at an ancient, deliberate pace, the continuation of the species is a testament to meticulous biological orchestration, a slow, patient dance of renewal that ensures the legacy of these colossal beings. The reproductive cycle of Macrocheira is intimately tied to its long lifespan and its deep-sea habitat. While specific details of courtship and mating in the wild remain elusive due to the challenges of direct observation, scientists believe that aggregations of these crabs, sometimes numbering in the hundreds, occur at specific times of the year, likely for reproductive purposes. Imagine these immense forms slowly converging on particular deep-sea areas, their long legs moving with an almost silent grace across the soft sediment. These gatherings are not chaotic. Rather, they are likely orchestrated by subtle chemical cues, pheromones released by receptive females, drifting through the abyssal currents, guiding the males towards their mates. Sexual dimorphism. The distinct differences between males and females plays a significant role in reproduction. As we have noted, mature male Japanese spider crabs possess exceptionally long chelipeds or claws, which can extend significantly beyond their other legs, sometimes reaching up to 1.5 meters in length. In contrast, the chelipeds of females are much shorter, more proportionate to their overall body size. This striking difference suggests that the male's elongated claws are not primarily for defense or foraging, but rather serve a crucial function in courtship displays, male-to-male competition, or perhaps in gently maneuvering the female during mating. Imagine two colossal males, their immense claws slowly extending, perhaps engaging in a silent, ritualistic pushing match, a display of strength and size to attract a mate, all unfolding in the profound quiet of the deep. The actual act of mating, like much of the spider crab's life, is believed to be a slow and deliberate process. The male typically positions himself over or beneath the female, and the transfer of genetic material occurs. Following successful mating, the female embarks on the crucial task of egg production and brooding. She will lay a vast number of very small eggs, perhaps hundreds of thousands or even millions, over a period of time. These tiny spherical eggs, often a pale orange or reddish color, are then carefully attached to the pleopods or swimmerets located on the underside of her abdomen. Imagine the female, her body gently curved meticulously, arranging these countless eggs, ensuring they are securely fastened and protected. The female carries these eggs for an extended period, a gestation that can last for many months, possibly even up to a year or longer, due to the cold temperatures of the deep ocean, which slow down embryonic development. During this brooding period, she diligently cares for her precious cargo. She will periodically aerate the eggs by gently fanning them with her pleopods, ensuring a constant flow of oxygen-rich water across their surfaces. She also keeps them clean, removing any debris or parasites that might settle upon them. This dedicated maternal care is a vital investment in the survival of her offspring, protecting them during their most vulnerable embryonic stage in an environment fraught with challenges. The sight of a female, her abdomen laden with a shimmering cluster of eggs, is a quiet testament to the enduring cycle of life in the abyss. Once the embryonic development is complete, the eggs hatch, releasing the first larval stage, known as the zoea. These zoea larvae are utterly unlike their colossal parents. They are microscopic planktonic creatures drifting passively in the vastness of the water column. And here lies one of the most remarkable adaptations in the Japanese spider crab's life cycle. Its larvae are pelagic, meaning they live in the open ocean, often at much shallower depths than the adults. Imagine these tiny, translucent zoea, propelled by delicate swimming appendages, ascending from the dark depths towards the mesopelagic or even epipelagic zones of the ocean where sunlight still penetrates, albeit dimly. This upward migration is a brilliant evolutionary strategy. The surface waters are far more productive than the deep sea, teeming with phytoplankton and zooplankton, which serve as abundant food sources for the hungry larvae. By exploiting these richer, shallower waters, the zoea can feed and grow, rapidly accumulating the energy necessary for their subsequent transformations. This early life stage is a period of intense vulnerability, as the larvae are exposed to a myriad of planktonic predators. However, their sheer numbers, coupled with their ability to quickly grow through successive molts, ensure that at least a small percentage will survive to the next stage. Over a period of weeks or months, the zoea larvae undergo several molts, transforming through various instars, each one slightly larger and more developed than the last. With each molt, their morphology gradually changes, taking on more crab-like characteristics. The delicate swimming appendages begin to transform, and rudimentary walking legs start to appear. This is a period of profound metamorphosis, a slow, continuous reshaping of their tiny bodies. Eventually, the larvae reach a crucial developmental stage, the megalopa. This stage is a transitional form, a bridge between the planktonic zoea and the benthic, bottom-dwelling juvenile crab. The megalopa still possesses some swimming capabilities, but its body form is much more crab-like, with a distinct carapace and developed walking legs. It is during this stage that the young crab begins its descent, slowly sinking from the shallower, brighter waters back into the deep, dark embrace of the abyssal zone. This descent is a critical journey, as the young crab transitions from a life of passive drifting and abundant food to an existence defined by slow movement scarcity and immense pressure. Upon reaching the seafloor, the megalopa undergoes its final metamorphosis, transforming into a juvenile Japanese spider crab. These young crabs are still relatively small, but they possess all the characteristic features of the adults, albeit in miniature. They immediately adopt the benthic lifestyle, beginning their slow, patient journey across the deep sea floor, scavenging for food and seeking refuge from potential predators. Their growth, as we have discussed, will be a slow, continuous process, punctuated by infrequent molts, eventually leading them to their colossal adult size and their century-long lifespan. The unseen nursery of the deep, from the meticulously brooded eggs to the upward migrating larvae, and their eventual descent, is a testament to the Japanese spider crab's profound evolutionary success. It is a reproductive strategy perfectly calibrated to balance the challenges of the deep sea environment with the opportunities of the more productive surface waters. This intricate dance of life ensures the continuation of these magnificent, gentle giants, allowing the ancient lineage of Macrocheira to slowly, patiently endure through the vast, silent stretches of geological time. As we consider the quiet miracle of this cycle, we prepare to gently drift towards the remaining mysteries that still shroud these creatures in the profound depths. Unanswered questions of the abyss. As the echoes of the Japanese spider crab's intricate reproductive journey gently recede into the quiet depths of our understanding, we are left with a profound sense of the known, a tapestry woven with facts about its colossal form, its deep-sea home, and its remarkable longevity. Yet for every thread of certainty there remain vast, shimmering shadows of the unknown, unanswered questions that linger in the abyssal silence, deepening the mystery of Macrocheira and inviting further contemplation. The deep ocean, by its very nature, guards its secrets with immense pressure and eternal darkness, making direct observation a rare and precious gift, and leaving much to the quiet contemplation of scientists. One of the most compelling yet still elusive questions concerns the precise limits of its astonishing longevity. While scientists confidently estimate a lifespan of potentially 100 years, and some even suggest up to a century and a half, the exact maximum age and the intricate biological mechanisms that allow an arthropod to live for so long remain largely unquantified. How do its cells resist the relentless march of time with such exceptional resilience? Are there unique cellular repair mechanisms or perhaps specialized proteins that protect against degradation that are yet to be fully discovered? What are the specific genetic factors that contribute to this extreme lifespan? And how do they interact with its slow metabolism in the cold, deep waters? Direct aging techniques like counting growth rings are challenging to apply definitively to crustaceans, and tracking individual crabs for a century in the wild is currently beyond our technological reach. Thus, the full extent of its ancient journey and the biological secrets it holds for defying senescence continue to whisper from the shadows. Much also remains to be understood about its social dynamics and the nuanced intricacies of its reproductive behavior in the wild. While aggregations for mating are known to occur, the full choreography of courtship, the signaling between males and females, and the specific role of the male's extraordinarily long chelipeds during mating are still largely unobserved. Do males engage in elaborate displays, perhaps using their immense reach to gently dance or parade for a female, or are the claws primarily used for competitive sparring with rival males? How do females choose their mates in this dark, silent world? What are the precise environmental cues that trigger these aggregations? And how do these colossal crabs communicate over vast distances to find one another in the immense featureless expanse of the abyssal plain? These are questions that demand direct, sustained observation, a task made incredibly difficult by the crab's deep habitat and its slow, infrequent activities. The larval journey, while understood in broad strokes, holds many specific unknowns. We know that the microscopic zoea larvae ascend to shallower, more productive waters, but the precise depths they inhabit, the duration of each larval stage, and the specific environmental triggers that initiate their vertical migration and subsequent descent back to the deep remain largely unmapped. What are their exact dietary preferences during these planktonic stages? And how do they navigate the complex currents of the upper ocean? What cues signal to the megalopa stage that it is time to embark on its slow, final journey to the abyssal floor? And how does it ensure it lands in a suitable habitat for its adult life? The detailed ecological interactions of these tiny larvae in the vast water column are a world unto themselves, a realm of microscopic marvels yet to be fully illuminated. Even the Japanese spider crab's diet, while broadly classified as scavenger and detritivore, likely holds subtle complexities we have yet to uncover. Do they exhibit specific preferences for certain types of carrion or marine snow? Are there particular microorganisms or sessile invertebrates that form a more significant part of their diet than currently understood? Do they actively farm or encourage the growth of specific sponges or anemones on their carapace for symbiotic benefits beyond camouflage, perhaps as a supplementary food source or for enhanced waste removal? The slow, deliberate nature of their feeding makes it challenging to observe their complete dietary range and habits, leaving nuanced questions about their precise ecological role in the deep-sea food web. Furthermore, the full extent of their sensory world, while explored, still holds secrets. How sensitive are their rudimentary eyes to bioluminescence, and what specific patterns or colors of light, if any, do they perceive? What is the full range and specificity of their chemoreceptors, allowing them to differentiate between various chemical signals in the complex broth of deep-sea water? How do they integrate the constant stream of tactile and vibrational information from their many setae-covered legs, constructing a coherent map of their environment from these subtle echoes? The internal workings of their nervous system processing this complex sensory input from a world so different from our own remain a profound physiological mystery. The very act of molting, especially for a colossal ancient crab, presents further questions. As individuals age and grow, their molting frequency decreases dramatically. How do these extremely large, older crabs manage the immense physiological stress of shedding a 4-meter exoskeleton in the deep, high-pressure environment? What are the specific hormonal controls that regulate these infrequent yet monumental transformations? The period of vulnerability during post-molt, when the new shell is soft and hardening, is a critical phase. How do these massive, slow-moving creatures protect themselves during this time, beyond simply seeking out secluded spots? Finally, the broader ecological implications and conservation status of the Japanese spider crab are becoming increasingly pressing questions in our rapidly changing world. What is the true extent of its population size and genetic diversity across its range? How susceptible is this long-lived, slow-reproducing species to the impacts of deep-sea trawling, which can damage their habitat and inadvertently catch them? How might the subtle but profound changes occurring in the global ocean, such as ocean acidification, rising deep-sea temperatures, or shifts in marine snow composition, affect a creature so exquisitely adapted to a stable, cold, and dark environment? These are not just scientific curiosities, but crucial inquiries for ensuring the long-term survival of these magnificent ancient inhabitants of the deep. The shadows of the unknown that still shroud the Japanese spider crab only deepen its allure, transforming it from a mere biological specimen into a living enigma, a profound whisper from the very heart of the abyss. Each unanswered question serves as a gentle invitation beckoning scientists to continue their patient exploration, to listen more intently to the quiet wisdom of the deep, and to slowly, respectfully peel back the layers of mystery that still surround these colossal, gentle giants. As we allow these lingering questions to drift through our minds, we prepare for a final reflection, a gentle embrace of our shared future with these guardians of the ocean's sleep. Conservation and our shared future. As the profound questions surrounding the Japanese spider crab linger in the silent depths of our contemplation, we are brought to a crucial juncture, our shared future with these majestic beings and the delicate balance of their continued existence. Macrocheira caempheri is not merely a biological curiosity, it is a living monument to evolutionary resilience. A sentinel of the abyss whose century-long journey through the cold, high-pressure darkness of the deep ocean holds invaluable lessons for understanding life itself. To comprehend its future is to acknowledge our own responsibility towards the unseen wonders that dwell far beyond the reach of sunlight. These are the guardians of the ocean's sleep, and their fate, however distant, is inextricably linked to the actions unfolding on the vibrant surface world. The primary and most immediate threat to the Japanese spider crab stems from human activities, particularly deep-sea fishing practices. For decades, these colossal crustaceans have been a target for commercial fishing, prized for their unique appearance in aquariums, and to a lesser extent, for their meat. The primary method of capture involves deep-sea trawling, a profoundly disruptive practice. Imagine vast, heavy nets, sometimes stretching for kilometers, being dragged across the delicate, soft sediments of the abyssal seafloor. These nets, weighted down to withstand the immense pressures, scrape and scour everything in their path, indiscriminately collecting not just target species, but also an immense array of non-target organisms, a phenomenon known as bycatch. For a creature like the Japanese spider crab, whose movements are slow and deliberate, escape from such a sweeping, destructive force is virtually impossible. Their long, slender legs, while perfectly adapted for traversing the soft bottom, offer little resistance against the relentless pull of a trawl net. They become entangled, their delicate joints and colossal limbs easily damaged. Even if released, the stress of capture, the rapid change in pressure as they are brought to the surface, and the physical trauma can be fatal. Furthermore, the deep-sea environment, characterized by its extreme cold and scarcity of resources, fosters incredibly slow growth rates and long lifespans. This means that deep-sea populations are inherently vulnerable to overfishing. If a population of Japanese spider crabs is significantly depleted, it would take many, many decades, perhaps centuries, for it to recover, if at all. The very characteristics that make them so fascinating, their longevity and slow reproduction, also render them profoundly fragile in the face of rapid human exploitation. Beyond direct fishing, the habitat of the Japanese spider crab faces insidious threats from broader changes occurring across the global ocean. Climate change, driven by human emissions of greenhouse gases, is subtly but profoundly altering the delicate balance of deep-sea ecosystems. One of the most significant impacts is ocean acidification. As the ocean absorbs increasing amounts of atmospheric carbon dioxide, its pH decreases, making the water more acidic. For creatures like crabs, whose exoskeletons are primarily composed of calcium carbonate and chitin, this change in ocean chemistry presents a formidable challenge. Imagine the very fabric of their protective armor, painstakingly grown over decades, becoming subtly more difficult to form, or perhaps even prone to gradual erosion, weakening their structural integrity and making them more vulnerable to pressure and injury. Ocean warming, though less pronounced in the deep than at the surface, can still have subtle but significant effects on cold-adapted species. Even a slight increase in ambient temperature could subtly alter the metabolic rates of Macrocheira caempheri, disrupting the finely tuned physiological processes that enable its extraordinary longevity. A creature whose life clock is set to an ancient, slow rhythm might struggle to adapt to even minor accelerations in its internal chemistry. Furthermore, changes in ocean circulation patterns driven by global warming could impact the distribution of marine snow and other food sources, or alter the dispersal routes of their vulnerable larvae, potentially stressing populations that are already living at the edge of sustenance. Another emerging concern is deoxygenation. As ocean waters warm, their capacity to hold dissolved oxygen decreases. Coupled with changes in ocean currents and increased nutrient runoff from land, this can lead to the expansion of oxygen minimum zones, areas where oxygen levels are critically low. For a deep-sea creature that already operates on a slow, efficient oxygen uptake, further reductions in available oxygen could be severely detrimental, limiting their range and further slowing their already languid life processes. Pollution, too, casts long shadows into the deep. Microplastics, the tiny fragments of larger plastic debris, are now found in even the most remote and pristine deep-sea environments. These ubiquitous particles can be ingested by filter feeders and scavengers, including the spider crab, potentially causing internal damage or leaching harmful chemicals into their tissues. Larger plastic debris, such as discarded fishing gear known as ghost gear, can continue to entangle and kill marine life, slowly drifting through the abyssal currents, posing a silent, persistent threat to the long-legged giants. Chemical pollutants, heavy metals, and persistent organic pollutants originating from industrial activities and agricultural runoff can also accumulate in deep-sea sediments and food webs, slowly poisoning the very environment the spider crab calls home. In response to these growing threats, conservation efforts are slowly beginning to unfold, driven by a growing awareness of the unique value and vulnerability of deep-sea ecosystems. Establishing marine protected areas (MPAs) in regions where Japanese spider crabs are known to aggregate or reproduce is a crucial step. These protected zones can restrict or prohibit destructive fishing practices, providing safe havens where populations can recover and thrive undisturbed. Promoting sustainable fishing practices such as the use of less damaging gear or strict catch limits can help reduce bycatch and prevent overexploitation. However, the vastness and inaccessibility of the deep ocean make enforcement and monitoring incredibly challenging. Continued scientific research is perhaps the most vital component of conservation. We still have so much to learn about Macrocheira caempheri. Its precise population dynamics, its specific habitat requirements, its full reproductive cycle, and its resilience to environmental change. Submersible dives, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and advanced acoustic mapping technologies are slowly allowing scientists to gather more data to observe these creatures in their natural state and to understand the intricate workings of their deep-sea world. This knowledge is the bedrock upon which effective conservation strategies can be built, allowing us to make informed decisions about how best to protect these ancient inhabitants. Our shared future with the Japanese spider crab is a quiet call to humility and responsibility. It reminds us that the ocean is not merely a resource to be exploited, but a vast, interconnected living system, much of which remains profoundly mysterious. The intrinsic value of a creature that has evolved over millions of years to thrive in such extreme conditions, living for a century in silent contemplation, transcends any immediate human utility. It represents the boundless ingenuity of life, a living testament to the Earth's ancient, enduring power. Protecting the Japanese spider crab, and indeed the entire deep-sea ecosystem, is not just about preserving a single species. It is about safeguarding the health and biodiversity of our planet, ensuring that the quiet marvels of the abyss continue to inspire wonder for generations to come. The slow, deliberate movements of the Japanese spider crab across the abyssal floor, a creature whose very existence challenges our perception of time and scale, serve as a profound living reminder of the deep ocean's enduring fragile beauty. And so, as we drift away from the colossal, silent world of the Japanese spider crab, let the profound quiet of its abyssal domain settle gently within your own being. Consider how the very atoms that form its ancient, enduring shell, the elements that compose its long, delicate limbs, were forged in the hearts of distant, dying stars. Just as the carbon and oxygen and iron within your own body whisper tales of cosmic origins. We are all in our essence stardust, intricately woven into the fabric of this universe, connected to the deepest ocean and the furthest reaches of space. Allow the image of this gentle giant slowly traversing its dreamlike ocean floor for 100 years to guide your thoughts into a similar realm of deep, unhurried peace. Just as the spider crab finds solace and sustenance in the profound darkness, may you find your own restorative slumber in the quiet depths of your mind. Let the deep, cold currents of the ocean carry away any lingering thoughts, leaving behind only the profound stillness. May the ancient silence of the abyss cradle your dreams, granting you a long, peaceful rest. Sleep well, and see you again.